This is Master Kambai. Welcome to this new replay commentary. Today we got a guest. You can now present yourself.
Hello, one and all. My name is Jake. You can call me jakester897 for short. I definitely said that backwards, but anyway, I'm a little gamer boy, and we once again played a match. I've been on this channel a couple times now, so yeah, I'm just here to commentate over the match.
That's good. So this was the Egg Cup. That was our round 2, and that's funny because I actually forgot I told you I had Smurfs, and I tried to play it out like by curiosity to see if how you were perceiving the game, but then you told me, oh, I know it's one of your Smurf, and I actually forgot. But yeah, that was round 2. This is Rain, as you can see. How do you feel about Rain in general?
Okay, so this was my first time playing in Constant Rain, to be honest with you. You play for one turn against Drake normally, and then it's like, okay, you can kind of forget about what the implications of Rain are for a while.
Yeah.
If I were to play this again, I would play it quite differently from how I did. But I wasn't thinking it all the way through, which I should have. That's the whole gimmick of this round. That's why, you know, that's why it's fun. It kind of makes you think a little bit, something that I didn't really do. So one big thing is vehicles can't move unless they're on roads. I built a lot of vehicles. Air units, though, they're a lot stronger because they can actually, they actually have a range of motion. Another thing is you have less vision, and that is why we both ended up picking Sonja, I think.
Yeah.
You can correct me if I'm wrong,
I
but
agree.
yeah.
So what happened for me? I like as I was doing my round 1, I did three different tries. One of them I was bad. I had bad luck, and I ended up against a very strong opponent. He was in the 1000, but I think he was in the 1000 of standard, and I barely never do standard. I barely play standard, so of course, as someone that barely plays standard, if I meet a 1000, I will get crushed, and this is basically what happened. So I created a Smurf, and my second time around, I was pissed because I was winning economy, value, everything. But that guy was smart enough to pull off a crazy HQ cap strat. I was pissed. I was winning, and because he was smart enough to like pull this off and HQ cap me, he won. So now I came up with my third and last try. I was like, I hope it will be the good one. I won! But my third game, basically my third try, I knew I won from almost the start because my opponent was really bad. He was nowhere near as good as the other two. So I was like, okay, I fought better. So I decided to practice round 2 because I knew I won round 1 at last after 3 tries. And I practiced like 2 or 3 times before, I think it was 3 times actually. I did practice 3 times before finally making into round 2. My first try, I took Lash, and she was really strong. I steamrolled my opponent really hard, and I think my opponent was Kindle, I think. The second try, I do believe I was Sammy, because Sammy is a good pick, because her capture game is kind of good, and the capture game must be essential basically because it's really hard to like steal building from your opponent because very limited vision, and like the economy really like the more income you have in rain, the more OP you become. It's the same thing like for normal games and standard, but when there's rain and fog, the income becomes even more important because you need a lot of money. You need much more money when there's rain because you need much more air units. You need much more recons. You really need a lot of recons because you are very limited with the vision. And even like infantries and mech and mountain, as you can see, there's a lot of mountain. It's not really enough. Even if you got plenty of them, it's really easy for like 2 unit to like jump on your unit and then you're blind, you don't see anything anymore, and you end up losing. So Sammy is kind of good because she's able to like capture a lot of building, and it's much harder for anybody to like interrupt or cap because it's Sammy and there's rain. So she's another really good pick. And my third practice, I chose Sonja because I was like, rain is really like annoying. So let's try out Sonja. And based on the 3 games, I think the 2 best picks you can get is Lash and Sonja. They are clearly the best picks, but I think Sonja is a bit better because vision is essential. But Lash is still very good because her power, terrain tactics, only it's not affected by rain. It's only affected by snow. So this means her power becomes really good, like really good. I was only spamming the power against a guy, and I won. I think I only did 1 super at some point because I could capture a lot of buildings, but I was spamming the power all the time, and I was against Kindle, so it's giving an idea on how broken Lash is in rain, because she can still rely on tanks and stuff. So yeah, Lash can rely much more on vehicles, and that makes her really worthy and really strong in rain. But Sonja, I think Sonja, vision-wise, she is really like a beast. So with that being said, my personal experience with rain, well, I barely played rain before that round. Like sometime I used to play some random weather games, but even there, random weather, you barely have rain and it doesn't really affect you. So I think my biggest edge here is the fact that I had like 3 tries before doing that round. That's my biggest advantage I had in this game. So now I think you have remote control, am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, perfect. We now go at your own pacing, except if you would like to add something else to the intro.
I guess I'll just say it's a mirror match. Sonya sort of negates the reduced fog of war vision by increasing all units' vision by 1. So it's sort of like a normal game, except well, all the other things that Rain does, of course.
No vehicles, or vehicle really bad.
Yeah, vehicles are still bad. Sonya can't undo that, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess we'll just get started. We have
This is why Lash is good, because her terrain tactics erase the terrains.
That's right. And actually, I had a game where my opponent picked Lash against Olaf. I was Olaf, and I used my super, and I'm like, wait, they can counter with their own super, and it negates the snow. But no, it doesn't. I read it, and I was like, oh, okay, I basically won then.
Yeah, but Lash is still very strong. I think she's very underrated. Even if Snow slow her down, she can still pack a good punch.
Oh yeah, of course. It was just the position was so bad that the opponent couldn't make a comeback. It wasn't the matchup was losing. I'm not that cocky.
What's funny about the current tier 3 roster, I think half of it should belong in tier 2, but lower than like the 3 we got right now, except for maybe Max. Max, I think he doesn't belong in tier 2. I think he belongs more to tier 3, but just because he has a crazy buff with direct, that's why he's not 3, I guess. But I think Lash is just much better than Max. She's not as aggressive as Max, but she is much better than him because she doesn't have any weakness. And her super is just much better than Max super, let's be honest here. It can really flip the table if you play Lash super well. I think the only COs that really belong in 3 is like Sonja, Andy, and Sammy. I think Sammy should belong in 3 and Fog. I think Rachel is like one of the few in between where I think, depending on the matchup, she could go either 3 or 2. Because I think she is very underrated. But here again, that's just me. Lash 2, Kindle 2. But here again, that's just me.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's consistent with what you said before. I also think Lash is probably better than people give her credit for.
People are just bad with Lash. They just don't get a good grasp of what she can do. And one time I was Eagle and I fought a Lash, and that Lash in general was a better player than me. And he really destroyed me really hard. Like, even with my Lightning Strike, I could not get back into it. He really ruined me because he was a good Lash player. And he was a better player than me as well. So these two factors in, but like, even if we reverse the roles, I don't see myself doing as good. But I still think I would have gotten a chance, you know, because Lash has a really good day-to-day. That relies on terrain, but most of the map have a lot of plains. Most of the map have a lot of buildings. So even if it's like light in terms of forest, Lash is still really good because there's a lot of plain and there's a lot of cities. And cities, she basically becomes Grim.
Yeah, I agree. I think even if it's a lot of road, like the tiles that aren't road are just like choke points to focus on. You can sort of build an attack from those tiles.
Yeah.
So there's always an opportunity for Lash to make that day-to-day come into use in any map. Obviously, some are better than others, but
on my last fight in this map, man, I had 2 artillery in the center. I was wreaking havoc. I was destroying anything that was trying to do something in the center. That was funny. I was like, hell yeah, this is how we do. And I was able to place artilleries there fast because of her terrain tactics. Because without it, man, it takes forever for artilleries to reach these forests.
yeah, especially in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, even without the rain, you have these forest tiles kind of blocking the bases off, but
Yeah.
in the rain, you have no shot. Like, go take 10 turns to get your artillery there, see what happens. Now, I wanted to point out we diverged quite early on. Our capture games were pretty similar, but you got this airport earlier, and that let you build a T-copter.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very good idea in the rain. On the other hand, I built a recon, which is not bad.
Recons are really great. Look, your build is really good. But I feel like in this map, the early transport copter is a staple.
Yes.
Now I say that, so I know if I meet other players online and they see me, they will be like, oh, let's have recons to counter that play. Because in normal games, recon plays and like early assault really damage the transport game. So I think that transport copter is a staple for like regardless which one you're doing. So to go back with that transport opening, I will also say this: I did a mirror match. Not, no, it wasn't a mirror actually. It was Von versus Sasha, and I fought Go7. I think I already spoke about that game earlier. I don't know when that video will be uploaded, but regardless, Go7 had the same opening, and Go7 is one of the best player in the world in Fog. He's top 10, and he goes with that transport copter opening. I'm not saying he's always doing it, but he told me it's a good opening, and he did it against me, and I did it as well. That's why sometimes I get confused and say it's a mirror match, but not really. We only mirrored like the opening. So yeah, I
it's
think
a mirror match in some way, but
yeah, I think
not in the CO way.
I think the recon is really good. So like, especially in fog in this map, like recons are really busted in this map because there are roads on both sides. They are not as good in the center because obviously forests, plains, they are really trash in the center. But all you need from recon is vision, and they are able to like run away and hide in forests if they are damaged, and they don't really expose themselves because, let's be honest, in mountain, when you see an infantry there and you have the chance to kill it, you will kill it. But then like the recon, it's not that obvious, you know, like sometimes can survive some hits depending which unit attacked it, and of course the recon will run away and hide. The infantry will likely die, or it will be really hard for the infantry to retreat and hide somewhere. So recons in this map are really good.
Right, yeah. Um, Not to discredit this opening, I'm not gonna make any strong statements like your transport copter idea was better. However, I will say later in the match, I think I see your transport copter, and I'm like a little kid who sees someone with a cool toy. I'm like, oh, I want one of those. So then I end up building one way later on in the game. Um,
So I will speak also about transport right now. If you're not Eagle, don't late don't wait too long to get transport, because the longer you wait, the less value they will get. And if you make a transport copter later on in the game, this is either a power move or a wasted copter. When I say power move, it's just to tell people, look, I won because I had the money to have that transport copter when I should have tanks. You know, it's a flex. Transport copter are really good early in the game, but they need to be early in the game so they pay themselves back. Later in the game, you have war ingoing, you have tank on tank, battle copter on battle copter, so it's not the right time. Because if you build a transport copter in later stage in the game, there are more threat that can kill it, and most of the neutral buildings or most of the buildings you are meant to capture are already captured. So the only point of a transport copter later on is a flex or wasted money. Now, of course, sometimes you know you are in control of a game and you want to like get some of your opponent building faster, then maybe it can be a good purchase to have a transport later on. But as I said, Eagle, I say Eagle because he can use his transport twice with Lightning Strike, so that's why I mentioned Eagle. Sammy has also really good transport, but even her, I don't see her like making transport later on the game, because later on the game she should win or she will lose. The longer the game will be, the worse Sammy becomes. So Eagle is like the only CO I really see making transport like late in the game. The more you wait, the less value you may have from the transport you will build. Now, there's another case where I can forgive late transport, is when you fight Olaf because of the freaking snow. Now, I understand. Later transport copter are actually a somewhat decent option if you are either on a stalemate or if you have a small lead, then I won't judge you if you get a transport later on in the game. But yeah, that's the thing with the transport. The more you wait, the worse they become.
Yeah, and I've actually I was talking to Kantbai about a game that we had played, and he told me that
You cut, bro. You did cut after count by. You cut after count by.
there are some occasions where if cut. Okay, now so hold on.
So
I'm
okay,
back,
now
right?
it's back. You did cut
Yeah.
off after I played a game with count by.
Yeah, we talked about it a little, and he told me that in some situations, if it's a big map and you're not building a lot of infantry, it can help to build a transport to get infantry to the front lines faster.
Yeah,
However, there are probably a lot of caveats, and it's very situational.
yeah,
So I'm not going to go parading this around as the advice you should follow. Just
yeah.
be cautious with it.
I think when he's speaking about that, he's speaking about maps like Stalingrad. If you remember
Yes,
that map, it's kind of
it was
big.
on Stalingrad, actually, the game
And
in
you got a
question.
lot of
So
money in Stalingrad, so you can afford it and still have like 3 tanks and stuff. So,
right.
like in that kind of case, I agree with Count by like Stalingrad. I think one of the reasons why it's one of my top maps and one of the maps I like the most, even if I'm trash at it, because I'm not good in Stalingrad. It's one of my worst maps. I think it's my worst map with 3 bases, but I still like it a lot. Um, I think transport later in the game are still valuable in Stalingrad because of how big the map is, and sometimes people just don't want to resign. Like I'm currently doing a like we are on day like 31, 32, and my opponent just lost for like many turns because he did rush my HQ and he poorly failed. That was like I'm Drake, my opponent is Indy, so he thought because he could repair, he would be able to win that way, but he just ended up like losing so many units. And I spammed Tsunami a lot this game, so most of his unit by my HQ were jammed. They couldn't move anymore because he didn't build APC and because he overextended to my territory without having like a good game plan. He did pressure my HQ a lot, but the moment his unit died from like fuel drain or the moment where his unit were really like not able to do much, I won because he dedicated so many units for my HQ just to capture the HQ that the moment it failed, well, he lost so much value. I think he lost like 2 medium tank, like 2
Ooh.
anti-air, 1 tank. One of his Neo tank was heavily damaged, and I think he lost like 5 infantry during that like turn where he tried to HQ cap me. And he really came close, but I've seen that guy coming. Like the moment I've seen him trying to get my HQ, I was like, okay, this is what I should do to counter him. And I just really slapped him back. And right now I basically spam transport because I want to push my infantry and steal his building. Right now I have like twice his income. I'm about to hit like the capture cap because when you hit the capture cap you basically win. I think I'm like 1 building away from the capture cap or
Wait, there's a capture cap?
in league. Yeah, in league. When you play league, all map have different capture cap.
So you win when you capture a certain number of buildings? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but usually it's like 75% or like
Yeah,
70%. So,
something ridiculous that would only happen if you're actually like winning.
yeah. Or if you're Sammy, like that's funny because one game I was actually losing, but my income was better and I was Sammy. And for once I used Victory March, and because of that building cap, I won. Without that rule, I would have lost that game.
Wow.
And I felt sorry. I said to the guy, "Look, I know you won, but hey, things happen, you know."
Well, with that, well, first of all, they take an income hit the next turn, and
Yeah.
then you have a massive income advantage the following turn. So, like, eventually, maybe you'd be able to
No, he was
win.
actually capping my HQ, and he covered his
Oh,
own.
okay. Well, that settles it. Um,
I blew up it, like that was Scavenger. You know Scavenger?
Scavenger, the map?
The map with pipes and boat on HQs and port in the
Oh, yeah,
center.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was basically Scavenger, and at some point we were into a stalemate, and at some point he decided to attack my black boat. So I was like, oh crap, I need to attack his. And we ended up like blowing up each other black boat roughly at the same time, and then we were like on a race on who will capture the fastest. But he had medium tanks around his HQ, and I didn't. So basically, what happened? He overthrown my infantry, and then I could not do anything about the HQ anymore because I had like nothing to compete with that medium tank. So I was like, oh crap. But I was still able to win, as I said, with this the HQ cap rule, the capture rule.
Wow. I think that's a setting on cartridge, right? It's like you
Yeah,
can manually set a capture limit. I guess they just do it in League.
yeah.
Uh,
And
so it kind of makes
there are
sense.
many games like people just don't want to give up and they lose because of that rule, and it makes sense. So I'm fine with that rule. I mean, at some point,
Uh-huh.
watch it. I mean,
That's good to know because sometimes I will be in an advantageous position and then I will try to go for the HQ, but it's difficult and annoying and they just smother it out. If I just
that's
capture all the other buildings, then I still win.
that's
That's good
why
to know,
there's an
actually.
HQ cap. And I think the main tournament has one as well. I will show you in the sitting right now, since we are speaking about that. Capture limit 30. So this means if one of us end up with 30 income, he wins.
Yeah, that's a lot of income.
Yeah. In this map,
Um,
if you got 30, this means the other player has roughly 16, I think, 15. So yeah,
yeah, it's not a lot.
you got twice. You basically
Um,
need this, this, and all these buildings.
all the contested properties.
Yeah, that's like a rule of thumb with that kind of setting. When you have all contested buildings, you usually win. And I think it's like all contested plus one or all contested plus two. So if it's not like all contested, it's like all contested plus this one, all contested plus this one.
hmm
I think.
Um, yeah. Anyway, we got way off track. There's a game to commentate over.
Yeah,
So I built a second recon. What do you think of that?
that's good. Actually, usually I say it's kind of bad to flop a recon with a second one. I don't really like that kind of opening. It's not good opening, but because we are in rain, it's actually really good. Because it's rain, it's fine. In general, two recons that early in the game, it's too much. I will sidetrack again. I thought that guy, he had like 4 recon really early in the game in this map, and I really crushed him so hard with like 2 tanks. I just cleaned the board. I needed 2 tanks, and all of his recon were gone. And then I take a look at his MMR, he was 700. So it's no surprise. Like some people, either they will never build recon or they will just build recon. So you need a good balance. And when it's rain, it's good. Right now, because it's rain, that second recon is actually good. If that was a normal game, I'm telling you, you have too many recon already, and you should like
Yeah.
think about another unit or save some money so you can have some tanks and artillery around. But
Well,
because it's
especially if you're
rain,
Sonya. whose tanks are basically mini recons
Yeah.
in terms of vision.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, yeah, I agree.
So here it's a good build right now because it's rain.
All right. Yeah, that. Oh my god, that gets you to these buildings so much faster.
Yeah. That's why it's a go-to for the opening in this map.
And you build your own recon, of
Yeah.
course, makes sense. Good
And I
unit.
build it on the side where is my transport because I want to see the threat, because I want to keep my transport for the entire time.
That makes sense.
The longer your transport is on the map, the more value it will get back, and the better that transport was. Good.
This definitely happened after our discussion
Yeah.
about the last game we had on this map.
Yeah. It's
Because
even if it's raining, I still think it's good because it's essential to have artillery in the center. So even if it's raining, I think it's still a good move. The earlier you will get that artillery going, the better it will be and the more value you will get. So I think this artillery is actually good. Good play.
yeah, I thank you very much. I was like 1, 2, 3 turns to get into the forest, maybe
Yeah.
4 if I'm miscounting.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually take 10, like I said earlier. I was just exaggerating. But man, you have 2 captures going in the center. I don't know if you would call this the center. It's kind of like on your side,
Yeah.
but compared to my 1,
That's the power
over
of
here.
one transport, man.
Yeah, and you're not even done with it.
Yeah, because now I will ferry mix.
Yeah, it's already paying for itself,
Yeah.
and not even close to finished.
The moment you push at least one mech, I think the transport already paid itself back because the mech will become a threat fast.
All right, here's where I make the game-losing move. Are you ready for this?
I need to see
Walk right over the city.
it. Misclick, guys. This is how
I
we
did.
win games.
I misclicked, and you know what? Another worst part. I always had a rule where I'm not playing Advance Wars while I'm at work on my phone
But
because I
you
don't want to
broke
get
that
distracted from work. It was a slow day. It's a tournament, so you kind of have to make moves faster. You can't like spend a whole day each turn. I think the increment was like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I was playing on my phone against my normal routine, and of course that's what happens. So yeah, it's not actually an instant game loss, but
Yeah, no, it's not an instant
of-
one, but you will suffer a bit of income. Like, you will lose income for sure. And because I got a transport, that issue will become worse and worse fast. Because I got a transport. If I didn't add that transport, that small issue would not impact that much the game. But because I got one transport, man, this small issue becomes much bigger.
yeah, I need whatever income I can get to at least try to keep up with you in some way. So you spent money on transport, which means you didn't spend it on attacking units. So hypothetically, like even if I have a bit less income, I could maybe match you in combat a bit
Yeah.
better. But this is a bigger gap than
Yeah.
I'm able to make up for. Realistically, anyway, if you play super well.
Now I get my first battlecopter as first very aggressive unit. I could have gotten
Yes.
artillery, but I knew the value of battlecopters because of the rain. So this is why I was like, I will focus my energy in the Air Force because in the rain they are the best units. Even if you did right with your artillery, battlecopter are that unit in at least in that rain state where they are perfect because they got vision, they are fast, and they deal decent damage against pretty much everything. And anti-air are much worse in rain. It's just crazy how bad they are. So in rain, I think based on the 4 games I played with full-time rain, I learned that the only way to counter a battlecopter is with battlecopter or fighter.
Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned that. I'm playing a very long, drawn-out game on this map right now against someone, and they kept building a bunch of air units. So I tried to pump out anti-air, but it takes, like, I can never quite get the anti-air in the right position. The forests just like make it slightly harder than it
Yeah.
needs to be, and so I made a fighter, and that seems to be doing a lot better.
Yeah, I think in this map in general, even without the rain, I think the anti-air are not that great. I still tell people make at least one or maybe two, one for each front, but they are really not as good as other maps because there are two airports and there's a lot of forests like in a lot of places. So the anti-air like are really slow to leave their base, and I will go further than that. Most of the forests are near the bases, so this means the moment the anti-air is out of the base, they are on plains, so they are really easy to spot on, and they are really easy to like just escape from because they are on plains. Like in a lot of maps, you can hide an anti-air like in a strategic point and just trap a battlecopter. Like in this map, the only way to trap a battlecopter with an anti-air is the center. But if you just throw your battlecopter in the center, you're kind of stupid.
True. Um, Now, let me defend myself for a second. I saw your mech, and I was like, wait, mech units, they can climb over the mountains, and they don't have any reduced movement due to the rain. Oh my god, mechs must be the strategy in the rain.
Oh no! I just seen your meg.
Um,
I've just seen your meg, bro. No.
So I made a second mech.
No. No. No, it's wrong. Wrong. Okay. Let's debunk what you just said. Mech are trash. The only reason why I bought one is that transport.
Right. Yeah,
I don't
that,
give a crap
totally makes
about
sense.
mechs because mechs are trash. But if you got a transport already on the field doing stuff, like a few mechs, one or two, like my rule of thumb with mechs is I got one transport, I can have up to two mechs. And sometimes when I know my opponent out-tank me, I will push my luck with three. But I will make sure they are all like nearby each other, so like they cover each other and they make it really painful for the vehicle to just go through them. But that's my rule of thumb. One transport, two mechs.
Yeah.
If you don't have any transport, mechs are plain trash. Even if you're Sammy, even if you Adder, I don't care which CO you picked. Even Kambai, Sturm, I don't care. Mechs are trash.
Yeah, I definitely. So, I don't know. This tank was only able to move like 2 tiles. The mech can also move 2 tiles. It's like a cheaper tank.
No.
I know.
First of all,
I know that's not actually how it works, but
First of
that's
all,
what
there
it was
are
going through my
roads,
head.
so the tank only moves 2 tile away for like a turn. And second, mech are more of a defensive unit. That's also why I think they are trash. They are not really good at being offensive. They are really good at scaring off vehicle and making a dent into something you want to kill. So that's the purpose of a mech. Just that tough guy people are scared to hit because they know they won't get that much value if they do. So yeah, they are easy to take out, and their main purpose is really damaging tanks and other vehicles. That's why. And even there, you want to damage them, but only if you can kill them. Because if you can only make a dent on it, if you have like mech on tank, I consider your mech wasted if the tank survives. Because then the tank will just go back on repairs, and your mech will never be repaired because it sustained damage and it can die from pretty much anything. So
Yeah,
if
even an infantry can kind
yeah,
of.
so that's why I think mechs are really a defensive unit. Their purpose is carrying off stuff, and if you're able to take down a tank with a mech, with the help of something else, of course, now it's worth it. Now you can do it because it did its job. It scared off stuff, so you were able to take a good shot.
Yep, that's good coverage. I think fair coverage. I think if you just say mechs are trash, maybe people don't buy into that. They just think that's your opinion, but that's a good reasoning behind it, and
Yeah, because
you're giving them credit where it's due too, which I
they
think
are
is
they are
important.
not they are very limited on what they can do. They are very limited on where they can go, and they cost so much money. One mech is enough money for 3 infantry. Two mechs is one artillery. And let's be honest, I will pick anytime the artillery over the two mechs because the artillery can go deal 5 damage to a medium tank, 4 damage to a near tank. So you see, the artillery will get much more value and it's the same price as two mechs. So why should I bother wasting my money into mechs?
Yeah, especially when we're not poor right now.
Yeah.
So
But even if we
yeah,
were, I'd rather get a Raycon than that mech because the Raycon will give me information. Now, this one is a funny one. You know why I did that?
I don't know. Do tell.
Okay, first of all, I was cocky. I was like, I want to pressure him. I'm sonja. I got good counter attack, and it's a building, and you are sonja as well. So this means if you low
Bad
roll,
luck. True.
if you have bad luck, you will actually get more damage than me. And I want to hurt like your infantry game by hurting myself as well. But what can that infantry do? Go in the center? I don't know if you went in the center yet. So what I decided, I go there to gather intel and to bait into you attacking me from a plane while I am on a city as Sonja, and it's a Sonja mirror, so you have bad luck. So you see, if it wasn't a Sonja mirror, I would never do such stupid move. It's just wasting a unit. But now there's a lot of things to factor in. My counterattack and your bad luck. Because there's that, well, I'm happy. I gathered intel. I made you waste times with infantries that could do something else, like, I don't know, going toward the center yourself. So I think, like, as someone that does a lot of quick thinking, I just went there and I was like, let's see what happens with that. As I said, if it was any other matchup, I would never do that. I did it because you're Sonja, you got bad luck, and I'm Sonja, I got good counterattack.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how this ended.
I ate it when we got fake numbers calling. What were you saying?
I was saying I actually don't quite remember how I ended up dealing with this. What I do remember though, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Me too, I don't really remember.
Oh my god. Okay, so we'll take stock of things after my turn. Do my classic compare income unit value and unit comp. Okay.
Oh, you went on the side.
I don't know why I did that, but I guess I figured I'd rather have the income
Okay.
than
That's
you'd
bad.
also rather have the income, I realize, yeah. But
You
I was like,
should
oh,
attack
I
with
can get
bolt.
this next turn.
Attack with bolt infantry. Don't do that. Because now I still threaten your building. I still threatening it, and your other infantry is done capping, yes, but you will use it next turn instead of doing something else. I don't know, trending my stuff or going in the center. Because you see, if you use that guy here to attack it and then attack it, now worst case scenario, I have like 2-3 HP because bad luck, and both of your infantry are still like 7, 8, maybe 6 because you sustain the sonja counterattack. But then that infantry would be able to try to go in the center, and now you got an artillery in the center. So the more units you have in the center, the better it will be. So by doing that, you will attack here, and then you will leave yourself not that many options because that infantry will almost be forced into attacking it. Because if I got the other people, I may like reinforce that cap or do other stupid stuff, you know. So I think by going for that building instead of my infantry, it's not really good.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna use this guy. I'm gonna use this guy after I move him up to the mountain on the next turn. I think that's what was my thought process anyway. And yes, that makes sense.
So here we are back. I forgot where we were before I left.
We were observing how I handled this situation, and I think the replay is glitched because
No,
I
because you're
attacked you.
Sonja and I'm Sonja, so it's normal you don't see it. We will see it on my next turn.
Ah, that's right. So you have uh-oh. Look at the amount of money I have. What beautiful things I could buy. Battlecopter, very good choice on
Yeah.
this map in this situation.
Yeah.
The third
Oh,
mech.
no.
Yeah. You can see that things
Why? Why? Why?
Again,
There
I was
is no
thinking,
transport.
in the rain, they're like cheaper tanks. That was
No.
my thought process. That's all I can tell you.
wrong.
I know it's wrong
It's
now.
wrong.
It's so wrong. Not even
It's
close to
wrong.
correct.
Yo, it's wrong. No, it's wrong.
All right, you have 6 HP left. Good to know. Now here you... Oh, don't know. That's right. Forgot.
Look, usually I don't do that, but it's freaking rain. I want to gather intel, and I am on a forest, and you are Sonja. So there's a lot of factor why
Yeah.
I don't play on conventional ways. I think I also did that because I knew you were behind me in terms of economy, and I wanted to slow you down even more. I knew that because I already had both buildings, and you didn't. And I had a transport, and you don't.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly take a Sherlock Holmes to figure
Now
out.
here I do weird stuff with my stuff because I know it's rain and everything is slowed down. So if I like cut your vision, you won't be able to do much. And that's the point of me just killing stuff left and right because I want to make you blind. It's really dark, I know.
Whenever I see an infantry die, it shocks me, but then I realize, oh, they're low on HP. I have not watched a single Sonya replay in my life. So that's why it's a very new experience to me to see this stuff.
Now, usually this is overextension. It's wrong. Don't do that. But it's rain. So don't play conventional ways. When it's raining, like, do weird stuff and sometimes it will pay off well. Other times it will turn out like spamming mechs and failing. But other times, like, it will work well.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll be what the good player in this game did. And other times, well, good luck.
Okay, that recall, man. He's as dangerous as mine.
Very true. I was like, fight danger with danger, I guess. Wow, that artillery got a shot off. Very impressive. Why did I do this? Now that's the
You
big
did the same as
question.
me. You have seen me doing it. You're like, I will do the same. It'll worry, right?
Yeah, but I can only do it with this one. I can't do it with both of my recon.
They got it back, by the way. So the Vic will do his job. That infantry, bro. Why?
I was like, I can take this guy out, probably. And I did.
Yeah,
You look at
but
that. At what cost? Yeah, I
yeah.
know. Moving off my city. I don't know why I did that, because if you go for a capture, we have the same sort of strong counterattack situation. I'm going to end up losing value.
Yeah.
A little subtlety, not a huge deal, but worth noting, perhaps. What did I build this turn? I didn't build any mechs. That's a good
That's
sign.
good. That's already one of your best turn this game
It's already
so
an
far.
improvement. Okay. So, my turn just ended. We'll take stock of the situation. You have 1k more income than me. You have less unit value on the board than me, actually, which I'm surprised about.
I'm not,
Um,
because you got a tank. I don't. You actually got 2 tanks. I don't.
yeah. Well, you have two.
And you
You
also
have
got
3
an artillery.
copters.
So basically, my more offensive unit are like battle copters and mechs. And so far, I only see 1 mech. So that's why. Because
Yep.
one of your tank is a mech for me.
Sure, but then you have 3 battlecopters versus my 2. Oh, I guess I have 2. Yeah, I could see why this might be the case. However, your army doesn't look lower value than mine. It looks comparable, and what that tells me is that you bought more efficiently.
Yeah. And I
Um,
also got a bit more money than you because my capture game was just better than yours.
yeah. Wow, I survived.
I'm Sonja, remember?
Yeah, that's true. Can't ever forget it. Okay, well, I guess it didn't really survive. Oh no, I have no vision. The artillery. I really didn't think that one through, I guess.
And that's funny because I knew you had no anti-air so far. And even if you add one, it would take forever to reach that area. Now my counterattack is so violent, man. Oh
Oh
my.
my god.
You lost the entire vision there. You lost the entire flank there. You had like
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the game right there. Numerous mistakes
no
on
more
my
vision
part.
there. No more vision there.
It's gonna be, you would have to make some egregious error in order for me to come back at this
no
point.
more vision in the center. So you see, guys, don't buy Max. This is the living proof of Max are trash without transport.
Yeah. Dude, imagine if these 3 mechs were one battlecopter instead. Like,
Yeah,
that
you would
would
be
change
already
the
on
game
a better
entirely.
spot, man.
Yeah. um, quite unfortunate. But that's what happens when you play with fire. This was a new situation for me. I hadn't played with rain before.
Yeah,
These egg cup rules were designed to be kind of like unique.
yeah.
So,
So
you
here,
know,
I bought a tank. I think that's my first tank this game. Now, the reason why I bought one, I see you having one. And my game plan is to kill you this tank because I don't like it. Because tank are, even if there's rain, they are still kind of good because they can take on anti-air. And anti-air are kind of a good thing against battlecopters. So tank are not that impressive because of the rain. But they are still value, you know, they are still vision. They can still do good damage against recon. They can still take out infantries. They can still take out mechs. So tanks are still relevant. So I think this first tank around is to make sure I'm able to kill yours. And I don't want to waste a battlecopter on your tank, or I don't want to waste like 2 copters on your tank, because my game plan is using my copters on your copters. That's like the best way to deal with enemy copters.
Yep, and that makes sense to me.
Man, that copter was brave. Oh my. That copter was brave. Rest in peace,
Yeah,
copter.
I guess I didn't see your copters right there, and I didn't. Oh wait, I saw this one
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and this one. Wait, why?
He was brave.
Oh man.
He was really brave.
Hmm.
That infantry just big.
I guess
flex,
I was like,
bro.
with any luck, you don't have anything here, maybe, because I see
No.
you have stuff all over the map. Like, how can you possibly have stuff here too? So
'Cause
maybe if I go for this, it'll work out.
And I don't make
Oh
mix.
yeah.
I don't purchase mix. That's why.
That's the long and short of it. Oh, getting trapped here. The fact that you still have vision, very disappointing.
Oh.
I don't know
that
how
makes
much
us
damage
brave.
that did.
That
That is a brave mech.
That make it,
I hope these two are also brave.
bruh. Why?
Also, I made an anti-air.
Why?
Hey, you know what? I'm glad I made an anti-air this game and the game I was talking about earlier, where I stopped making them and made fighters instead, because this was part of the learning experience. I saw they were bad here, and then later I had to learn, oh, it's not just because of the rain. It's just this map is just not anti-air friendly. So now I know. Now I really do feel like I understand
That's
how
some
to
tough
how to
love
play
here.
this better. A lot of yikes going on right here. You're capturing stuff I have no hopes of recapturing. You're destroying every offensive unit that I have. Whoa, look at your vision. You have all the vision.
That's sonja for you, bro.
That's nuts.
And I also see your only anti-air, and I know it doesn't reach me.
You have 2 recons on this side. Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah. And I placed that recon as bait, as I told you. So it was a bait. I was like, your sonja, you will probably end up seeing my recon, and I know you got a tank. So I'm like, battle copter first strike, tank second strike, no more tank. So that was really a bait. That there's no other word. That's like the perfect bait. And I usually don't do that, but I don't know, man. Maybe I improved without realizing it. But even there, I think that's the only recent time where I really remember making a bait like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything you did that was against your norm this game seemed to work in your favor.
And now I made 2
Eh,
artillery.
You're cranking out the artillery, I noticed.
Because I'm like, okay, I control the center, so it's time for the artillery play, so I control the center even more. And at that point, I also knew I won. Because
Yeah, you
I knew
won.
I
Look
had
at
a
this.
better unit count than you.
Unit value gap is a huge one, too. I have no sort of advantage. It would take something immense for me to come back here, and it's just not going to happen. We can, at this point, I think, speed it up a little bit. I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe we'll watch what happens to all of these mechs. Keep track of these 5 mechs as we go from turn to turn, see what happens to them.
These OP. Ooh.
I built another one, by the way.
Oh my, why? Guys, make spam is wrong. It's wrong.
Oh, notice how I trapped your copter to finally. This is the only way that an anti-air can possibly get a kill in this map. Is
And
if you
that's funny because
surround the
I'm able to
copter.
free my copter. I
Yes,
did a
you
lot
are.
of mental gymnastics to realize it, but I was like, I will free that copter. You will not fall like that.
Yeah, actually, let's see how you do it. As a easy, just like that.
The
And
NTR
on
doesn't
your way
reach.
out, you blow up my copter as well. Or whatever unit that was, I don't even know. Yeah, I'm very much dead. Dead here. Alright, let's see what else these mechs can do. Okay. Alive, I suppose.
And you took my
Oh.
bait at last.
At long last. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have resigned to give you more time for the next round in the tournament. But I kind of realized I lost, but I was like, let's just play it out for the memes. And
More mechs.
that's what you're witnessing right
How
now.
many NTR you got, bro? 4 NTR.
Yeah, and none of them can get a hit on a copter. It's amazing. Okay, there's one. I make a fighter here, which is kind of
And you
nuts.
base skip, I guess.
Did I base skip?
I think you did.
Oh, I must have, right? Yeah, I had 22,000, so I can't afford a fighter in 3 infantry. That's very sad.
That's also why having like 1 or 2 tank, even in the rain, it's kind of good because now I can deal with all these stupid NTRs.
Yeah, that's true, actually. If you just built copters, like I was hoping, in about 70 turns, when these roll out, it's going to be real rough for you. But unfortunately, you built the counter. Also, your own mech also deals with the anti-air kind
Yeah.
of well. So proving that mechs aren't useless, just normally they are, but in certain situations. Wow. Okay, look at this. I think at this point, you message me and you're like, bro, I'm almost at the unit cap. And then I'm like,
45 freaking unit, bro.
I'm like, okay, he probably doesn't want to do this meme anymore. So I resigned on turn 17, but really the game I lost on turn like 7.
That was violent. That was violent. Are you still alive?
I will use the shield of I didn't know how to play in the rain. That's a defense. But yeah, I don't know. Building tons of mechs, building not enough copters. Yeah, there was a lot I did wrong in this game for sure. So
45 unit, bro.
45 units. That's what that number of units looks like on this map. By the way, when my fighter started getting some kills, I was like, oh my god, how many kills is this fighter gonna get? And then what happened that made me resign, I think, is I got trapped at some point. Oh no, all it was wait, yeah, we have one more turn here. Do I resign here? Okay. Never mind, I must be thinking of something else. I remember some unit got trapped and I resigned, but that must have been a different game. Oh man.
I'm about to hit the unit cap in one of my global league game right now.
Oh, that's crazy. Make sure you let your opponent know.
I do, don't worry, bro. Or there's another game, man. 80 freaking days. And
80? Isn't there like a limit?
no, The guy just doesn't want to resign. And you know what's the most funny thing about that? Many times in the game, he asked for a draw, but I know I won because I know I got most buildings. I think I'm like 1 or 2 building away from the unit cap, the building cap, and I had that for like at least 40-ish days. So the guy is just doesn't want to like admit he lost, and that's funny because
Hanging on for dear life.
he is in the 1000. Usually that's some kind of thing 700 do, but this guy is in the 1000, so I'm kind of shocked I see that. And I think the guy just doesn't accept it, and I messaged him like many times, told him, yo bro, I know like this alternate account you see right now is like in the 800, but I'm higher ILO. I know I got more value than you, and I know I got more income than you. And this turn, the last turn I picked, I had a visual on most of the map, and his unit count was like 11 units, and mine was like 22, and it's light base, so it's crystal clear I won. The guy just doesn't want to resign.
That's rough. One complaint I have about the Advanced Wars by Web platform, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the messages that you send in a game, they show up when you click on that game, but they don't show up in the messages box from like the sidebar here. Why is that? Why is it 2 different message feeds instead of like?
Because the ones there, you have a limit of 100.
What? Is that true? What do you mean a limit of 100?
You need to delete.
Okay.
Like, the more message you receive... I don't think it's 100. I think it's less than that. Like, I think it's like 50. Because each is like 2%, I think. I'm not quite sure. But you need to delete your message. Because if you don't, they just accumulate. And at some point, you don't receive any more message. Even if people send message to you, if you're full, you don't receive them. So... the reason why they left it there is so people, when they play the game, they can send message to their opponent without it being counted in these.
I see. But I feel like they kind of worked with the limitations of the platform instead of improving the platform. Like, the messages shouldn't have a 50 limit. That's a little... My whole gripe is that, like, I want to say GG to my opponent sometimes. So I say GG, and then when you click on your games and notifications and it says like you won or lost, you're not clicking on that game again to look for messages from your opponent.
Yeah.
So they don't even see it. So I'd rather it send right to their inbox. I guess I could click on their profile and just send it manually, but then I'm contributing to their overflow limit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that's an improvement. That
I think
it should work like email.
Since there's a lot of user, obviously, and since it's a free service in some ways, they cannot like work that much because people are taking care of that website because they like doing it, and it's great. So I think I will never complain for the website as long as the website works. I will be happy, you know, because they volunteer to do that kind of work. So, but here again, that's just me. Since they volunteer like that kind of issues, like with the message, I fully understand and I'm fine with it. I just don't really care about that. I think it's more like when the website crashes, it bothers me a bit more. But here again, I will never blame it on anybody because I know they volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing Correspondence Advance Wars over the internet. It's a great time. I'm not gonna act like it's not a great website still, even with its problems. I'm just saying that is something in an ideal world, that would be improved.
Let's hope Nintendo will improve in some areas like that when they will finally decide to give us the game we deserve, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure that will happen very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll release right when you're least expecting it. That's normally how these things go.
I think they will wait until they have another big event. The next big event will announce the new release date. Um,
Oh, maybe.
I hope it's soon, man. I cannot wait to play like Reboot Camp.
hmm I hope I hope it doesn't come out at the same time as the new Pokemon because I'm gonna be playing that. I don't want to have to juggle both. It's kind of gonna be annoying. But yeah, we'll see. That's the future. Anyway, this game, I hope it was somehow instructive, even though the stuff I did wrong was kind of, very basic, and if I thought it through, I would have realized that it was wrong. But even still, if you're a new player, sometimes maybe it's not so obvious. So, I mean, I'm not a stupid person, and I still made the mistake. So
Yeah,
anyone can make a
everyone
mistake.
does. Even top players, sometimes they do weird stuff, and it's normal.
Mhm.
We are humans, and don't make spam.
Yes, definitely.
It's wrong.
As someone who's tried it, I'm gonna advise against it. Mech spam, not even once. All right.
So you see, even me, I had a transport copter, and like for most of the time, I was respecting my two mech-ish rule because I want to spend my money in something else that can bring more value. Because even mech, when they bring back value, it's not crazy value. I mean, they deal like what 5 damage to tanks and anti-air, maybe 6 damage to recons on like plane and road and stuff. But the moment like it's a more rough terrain like building and forest, now you really see how flawed the mech is, and you really see how much you don't want your mech to hit something if that something is sitting on a building or a forest. Like even as first strike to damper it down, I'd rather hit something on a plane or a road because mech they really take kind of huge hits because they are not meant to be aggressive, and I think it's perfect with them. I don't want the mechs to turn into that very aggressive unit because they would become broken. I think the mechs are very balanced because they are more of a defensive unit, able to like chip damage something so you can finish it off with something else. I think that's the charm of the mech, and this is the smart way to use mech. And if someone does this with mech, I'm like, oh, that guy knows how to use that mech. Well, he is a good mech user. But if I see someone with a freaking wave of mechs, I'm like, bruh, don't you get it? Like, that's not the way it should be, you know? Now,
Yeah.
I've seen Ghost 7. He had a Sammy play where his army was only mechs and infantry, bro.
And the opponent didn't want to build like a bomber or
At some point
battle
we did,
copter.
and then a body fighter.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But man, when I've seen Goal 7 doing it, I'm like, wow. Usually I would complain. I would be like, that's trash strat. But it's Goal 7, so I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. You can do it.
I mean, that's like Magnus Carlsen doing the Bong Cloud opening and then beating his opponent, It's a good player. They
It's
can
like
sort
Goal
of-
7 base skipping. I won't judge because he's better than me.
Right, yeah, he's allowed to swag a little bit. I'm not gonna question it.
So, any closing thoughts before we end?
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to play in rain ever again in my life. Um, if it seems fun to you, go ahead and try it. I'm not trying to knock you, but not for me. I prefer my normal weather games. Thank you very much. Uh, yeah, that's about all I had to say. I hope it was fun to watch, if not instructional. And yeah, I hope everyone who's watching this right now has a great night or morning or afternoon, whatever time it is for you.
Yeah. What do you have going on your channel right now? We are in August, but this video will probably come up like September, October. What do you have going on right now on your channel as October or September?
Okay, I know I said this like last week, but I swear a trio of videos is coming out on my channel soon. And they're coming one day after the other, 3 days straight of daily uploads. So, you know,
Maybe you
hopefully,
should like space them like a week. That's what I do on my other channel, multi-topic talk. So what's going on, like, especially when I have series and I want to like milk the content the way I can. Like, one week I decide like when the video will be uploaded, and then the next week I try my best to like 1 week later, so I can milk that content like longer. And that's also helping a bit more in the algorithm, because here's the thing: if you upload like bunch of videos for like 3 days 4 days, but then you upload nothing for like many months or many weeks, it can hurt you in some ways. I know we are all doing YouTube for fun, obviously, because we are very small, and YouTube is it's like driven to like bigger channels, of course, because it's a business. But algorithm wise, it's just better to either you spam of content your platform, or you space it out. I think that's the way it should be done. When you space it out, it's always better, because there's some kind of constant feed. Like, you feed your viewers with constant stuff without like sending too much. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. I guess it builds anticipation, like how Netflix would drop the whole season at once, but then they started doing like half seasons, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they started going
exactly.
weekly on some shows, I think. Could be wrong
Exactly.
about that, but
They did
um,
cut on the yearly stuff because they realized that brings less money on the table. But now speaking about YouTube, like as I said, either you have daily content. That's why Master Kambai, I took a hiatus, but now I'm coming back. And the fact that I came back and I have a bunch of video, that will really boost my algorithm, because for a month I was not available, and um, then suddenly there's an influx. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I gotcha.
So yeah, but that's just suggestion. So what were you able about to tell about the 3 videos?
Oh, they're about geometry. That's all. Nothing.
That
Advanced Wars related video is in the works. I have things written down for it, but that'll be after that trio of videos. It shouldn't be much longer after that because it's not something that's going to be super intensive to record
yeah.
or edit. So yeah, if you're looking specifically for Advanced Wars, you will be able to find it on my channel periodically. So do check it out.
If you need help, man, I'm always there. You came in so many times to my channel, so I'm happy to help if I can. So, with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed, and like, comment, and subscribe, everyone. We will see each other in future video, and I wish you all a great day.